Welcome back to Beyond the Award, a podcast by Visions. I'm Dani Eilerman, and today we're here with the wonderful Wendy Simons. How are you today, Wendy?
I'm great, Dani. How are you?
I'm great. Today we're going to talk about end-of-year recognition and how it's so important to recognize those big milestones at the end of the year. It's kind of crazy to believe that the end of the year is just around the corner. We got lots to celebrate, holidays, all the hard work everybody's put in throughout the year. Big milestones, and etc. So, Wendy, how do you think recognition plays into the corporate world, especially when it comes to the end of the year?
End of the year recognition is always important. Employees, in order for them to remain engaged, remain motivated, make them want to stay at their current place of employment, they really need to feel appreciated and feel like their efforts throughout the year have not gone unnoticed. And end of the year recognition to me is really like a celebration and an acknowledgement of all their efforts throughout the year. So, you know how I love stats, and there's like a ton of stats as to how important recognition is, whether it's at the end of the year or anytime throughout the year. So there's tons of stats, but I can tell you that, if an employee is not recognized, whether it's end of the year or throughout the year, they're going to be looking for another job. So one of my most favorite stats that I love to talk about is that most employees, like over 70%, they will look for a new job if they are not recognized every 6 to 9 months. That's how important it is. Yeah.
And that just goes to show that recognizing on a regular basis is super important too. I talked about that with Marcus a couple episodes ago about the importance of recognizing regularly. And the holidays, the end of the year, like that's the perfect time to have that staple recognition point of going back through all those milestones throughout the year and recognizing on all the hard work in that time frame.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, and then of course, stats. I mean, there's tons of stats, and it really goes to show that, when an employer has an authentic plan for recognition and it's part of their business plan, the amount of profitability that increases is unbelievable. Reduces the turnover. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And they say that if there is like regular recognition, whether it's throughout the year, but really regular, regardless of when it is, that like employees are like 5 times more likely to feel appreciated, 6 times more likely to invest in their work, 7 times more likely to stay with their current employer. I mean, these are not my stats, these are stats that exist out there, which goes to show how important it is.
Wendy, I love that point about authenticity. How would you say employers can most authentically give back to their employees in a recognition sense?
Well, I think first of all, it's got to be part of their business plan, whether that's shared with anybody or not. I mean, it's got to be in there so that when companies work to the plan, they know that it's important. But I think that when they consistently recognize their employees at the end of the year, and the way in which they recognize and what they recognize for, and make sure that their employees know what their employer feels is something that, or what they do can be recognized appropriately. Once everybody knows what's expected, I think that just shows authenticity.
Absolutely.
If I answered your question correctly.
Absolutely. And we touched a little bit on like the holidays and kind of that spirit of building up the culture. I feel like bringing some of those personal touches into the workplace can go such a long way. Do you have any like favorite holiday traditions yourself that are just like some of your favorite to talk about?
So holiday traditions, I mean, around Christmas and New Year's, or Hanukkah. Personally, my husband and I take the dog to Carmel by the Sea. It's really about the dog's vacation, and he loves to run on the beach in Carmel. So that's what we typically have been doing. Seems like every year we end up driving up there and doing that. So that's pretty much it. And eating, of course, another holiday tradition that I'm all about. I'm all about the food. So
of course,
and baking. I love to bake, so I'm always, baking something that I shouldn't be, but yeah.
My family loves to do that. One of my favorite holiday traditions is once a year, all my aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody, we all get together and we make Buckeye candies. So that's definitely like a treat that's typically found in the state of Ohio. We love being the Buckeye state, but they're like little peanut butter and chocolate candies, and we make so many, like thousands of them. My grandma's kitchen is a disaster, but it's so fun getting to see everybody and spend that time with family like that.
So how come whenever I'm in the office, I never see any of these Buckeye candies? Next time I come in, you're going to have to.
I'll make sure to bring some.
There was not one ingredient that you listed that I did not like, so.
I'll have to make sure to get you some next time then. Okay, so we just talked about traditions and how they're like special to each of us. And there's definitely opportunities within awards and recognition, especially to kind of start some of those annual traditions in the workplace. What would you say is your favorite Visions Award that best leads into year-end recognition and starting up a tradition like that?
Wow, only list one. Well, if I have to only list one, I'm going to list two. Always good to have a backup. So my very favorite one is the cube. It's the steel cube with the faceplate on the front, faceplate on the back. But then we have this magnetic attachment that says 2025, for example, and it's at an angle, and it attaches at an angle. So it really is a great celebration of 2025. But also, we also have these holiday magnetic attachments that can be added to the cube, which kind of enhances the morale and gets people excited around the holidays to sort of, get that holiday vibe going in the office. So you can add that, or an employer can add that to somebody's cube. And then that cube can sit on the desk forever. And then we have all these other fun magnetic attachments. It could be 2026. It could be, great job. We have a lot of really fun attachments that are both holiday related, year-end related, and everything in between. My second favorite is the bent steel that has 2025 cut out on the side. Love that piece.
Wendy, what would you say makes Visions the best partner when it comes to year-end recognition? What makes us stand out?
So I think it really has to do with our unusual designs and the unusual materials that we use and the way in which we use those materials to create a really one-of-a-kind piece. We use materials that nobody else uses, like wool. Who uses wool on an award, right? Which is sustainable, by the way. And no sheep are harmed, we've been asked during the making of our wool awards. But we use wool, we use cork, we use concrete, really unusual materials, and combine them in such a design forward way that makes them very unique. They stand out, and they just really have a lot of appeal to them. And I think that our interactive designs that we have right now are very on point in terms of trending and are really what a lot of today's employees appreciate.
I agree. I think our design team does such a great job of pushing the limits of creativity and, like you said, using all of those different materials to create designs that stand out and are trending and pushing those limits in the industry.
And they look so retail. I mean, a lot of our designs, it looks like something that you bought in a retail store. If you took one of our pieces and put it on the mantle and turn it around so no one sees the imprint, it looks like a work of art, really, that somebody bought at a really nice gallery or a really nice retail store.
When it comes to year-end recognition trends, Wendy, what kind of things are you seeing in the industry? What kind of award types and categories are you seeing when it comes to end-of-year recognition?
So, well, I think when people think year-end recognition, more traditional achievements, a lot of people think sales achievement, how are the sales for the year? And that's certainly a big one. But what we're seeing is a lot of companies engaging in peer-to-peer recognition, whereby rather than a manager recognizing an employee, one employee will recognize a fellow employee for helping them out throughout the year or thinking they're doing a stellar job, whatever it might be. And actually, statistically, it shows that more employees would rather be recognized by their fellow employee than by their manager, interestingly enough. One of the other trends that we see is core value recognition, whereby companies are recognizing employees who exemplify their core values, which is really cool. And it reinforces, at the very least, a company's core values and how important it is to that company when their employees, stand behind it and exemplify it.
I love that one. I think that one ties into like end of year, holiday, good spirit, fellowship, all of that so well, is those core values and lifting each other up. And peer to peer is the same way, lifting fellow employees up for their hard work and all of their accomplishments. It's something to be said about being seen by your peers and not just your manager.
It's very true, very true. And we have some really cool awards that are perfect for both peer-to-peer and core value recognition too. So FYI.
Could you give me an example? Like what are your favorite ones for that?
Well, our cubed is perfect for that. Actually, we did this for a distributor's client. So everyone in the office got a cube.
Mm-hmm.
The front faceplate was the company logo. On the back faceplate was the employee's name and a message. I don't remember what it was, but when one employee thought another employee did a stellar job, it was sort of like Rise to the Star or Star Achievement. It had a star theme to it. So when one employee thought another employee did a stellar job, they got a star magnetic attachment for their cube. And
I love that.
And so a lot of people got a lot of stars on their cube, and they were in different sizes, and it was really cool.
That's awesome. I love that.
And for core recognition, for core value recognition, all of our perpetual awards, and we've done them on a number of our perpetual awards where a specific core value, whether it was leadership or teamwork, whatever it was added magnetically to the award. So as they exemplified, let's say 5 different core values over time, they got that magnetic attachment printed with the core value to add to their award.
That's awesome.
Really cool. Yeah.
And it's such a good thing to like set goals to help yourself achieve those next attachments, those next milestones too.
And you can see what you have left to achieve, because maybe the award holds 7 different core values and you have 2, that you have room to grow and exemplify more of the core values.
I think that's great. It pushes the company culture in such a positive direction when everybody's working to achieve things together like that.
Yeah, definitely. And when you go to an end user's website and you see their core values are very prominent, I mean, everyone's got to buy into it, and that's why they like to recognize their employees who do so.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's circle back a little bit. We're going to talk about traditions. We talked about how traditions in the workplace can push those company values, and they hold those like emotions, those attachments within the award, the memories that came with those milestones. To me, that sounds a lot like a recognition program, Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give some thoughts on the benefits of recognition programs?
That a company that has a recognition program that is communicated to their employees allows an employee to know that it's just not a one-off, that they're going to be recognized for multiple milestones achieved throughout the year, and encourage them to continue to reach those goals and know that, hey, I reached the goal, I don't have to stop. Well, yes, but there's other ways in which they can be recognized as well. And I think a program is just a more well-rounded, thought out program that will be designed to increase morale year after year, not just as a one-off.
For sure. That continual growth and hard work and dedication to continue making those milestones goes so far in the company culture and the betterment of all the employees.
Definitely.
Okay.
And I think also along those lines, a lot of companies will post on their social media their recognition efforts. And a lot of times you'll see a company post on LinkedIn or whatever their social media platform is, and they'll post how they're recognizing their employees. And that's really important, especially for potential employees who, many of whom will go to a company's social media, their website, see the social media, see how they're recognizing their employees. And if they don't see any sort of recognition being publicized, that's kind of a red flag to a lot of potential employees.
Oh, I agree. And I think going into this end of year season when it's such a pivotal time to recognize your employees, those potential employees are seeing that they are scrolling those social media accounts and noticing those things. Especially I know like people going into the workforce between like the end of the fall semester, so they're graduating in December. They're looking for those jobs. Like that's a great time to position a company as one that is desirable to be worked at, and that end of year recognition can really increase that chance.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually seen it. We've actually seen what happens when an end user actually engages in posting on their website what an employee received. As actually an employee posted the award that she received from a company. And it got like, I don't know how many hits. It was like incredible, all these views. And then it was shared multiple times. And it's interesting because the company was going to switch to a point system. And when they saw how much exposure that they got from that one employee's post, and then the company put on their social media, they said, okay, we're not switching to a point system because the amount of exposure and goodwill that was generated was unbelievable.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear about. Okay. Well, Wendy, I've covered most of my questions with you. So
Thanks, Dani.
yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me today. For everyone watching, I'm going to say thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and maybe comment below if you have questions or ideas for a future episode, and tune in next time to be on the award.